Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to discuss class 12th CBSE chapter 1 solid state previous year questions uh, of J mains. So I'll be discussing mainly questions from 2019 to 2021 which have been asked from this chapter solid state and a very brief analysis of this chapter. Talking about important topics of this chapter, we have most of the times questions have been asked related to topics that you can see highlighted here, that is voids. Most commonly questions in the previous years have been asked from voids. JE Advanced 2001, 2002, 2005, 2012, all these years questions were asked from this topic, and specifically 2019 to 2021, all the 3 years JE mains, the questions were focused on the topic voids and close packing. Okay, and then another important topic in the previous years has been radius ratios. Quite often questions related to radius ratios have been asked, specifically in the years 2010, 13, 14, and many more. This is just an approximate analysis. Now, another important topic always has been density. So density based questions have been asked in the previous years, as well as if I look at 2019 to 21, so this has been again a topic from which questions have been often asked. The other important topics are defects. So in 2019 also a question was asked from defects. Then we have relationship between A and R, a very important topic between the edge length and radius of sphere for different kinds of packing. Then packing fraction and efficiency. Then we have structure of ionic compounds. This is important. Semiconductors, N-type, P-type, and then defects, stoichiometric and non-stoichiometric, both these defects are important. Actual analysis is never a surety of questions being asked from a particular topic, since you will be getting only one chance to appear for exam, and let us say there were majority of questions in the previous 3-4 years asked from a particular topic, doesn't guarantee that in the next year also questions will be asked from those topics. So I would suggest all these topics should be done very strongly. All the formulas to be done well, but only if you are working on selective topics. You do not want to do the entire course and you don't have mastery over the chapters, and it's just a last moment preparation. Then you can pick up the topics in order of priority, the important ones first and the less important ones later, and the very difficult ones which you've never done ever, you should leave, specifically for JEE and NEET 2021. Leave those topics which you've never done and you find very difficult to understand. Instead, practice more of the topics that you have a mastery over. Now, Bragg's equation, Breville lattices, all these topics are not very important, and questions very rarely have been asked from this. So in case you're not very good, you can omit these topics. Now, moving on to the questions. The first question, this is JEE Mains 2021. A hard substance melts at high temperature and is an insulator in both solid and in molten state. The solid is most likely to be what? So how are you going to crack this question? A hard substance. So what kind of substances are hard? Covalent solids are hard substances, as well as ionic solids are hard. Metallic are a little less harder. So ionic and covalent are the hardest, and molecular solids are the least hard, they are soft. So a hard substance melts at high temperature. So if we look at melting point, high melting point, then we will now think of covalent solid and ionic solid. Which out of the two has a higher melting point out of covalent solid and ionic solid? Children, when this question is asked, most of your books answer this as covalent solid, keeping in mind the comparison mostly of diamond thought of as a covalent solid and sodium chloride example under ionic solid, and diamond has a higher melting point in comparison to sodium chloride. Otherwise, we do not have a generalized concept about whether a covalent solid has a higher melting point or an ionic solid, because some covalent solids have a lower melting point than some other ionic solids, and vice versa. Okay, but for your level of class 12, when this question is asked, or when you see this question in the various MCQs books, you will mostly find covalent solid having a higher melting point than ionic solid, because we generally take into consideration examples of diamond as a covalent solid and ionic solid sodium chloride. But this is not universally true. There are many such examples of covalent solids which have a lower melting point than some other ionic solids. Okay. Also, if you look at the NCERT table where the properties of covalent and ionic solids have been discussed, you will find covalent solid, they have written very high melting point, and ionic solids high. So high temperature, both these, this is having higher. Let us look at the next one, is an insulator in both solid and in molten. So insulator in both solid and in molten state, the example is covalent solid, because ionic solids are insulators only in solid state. These are insulators in solid state, but in molten state they become conductors. So covalent solids. The next question says, in a binary compound, atoms of element A form HCP structure. M occupy two-thirds of the tetrahedral voids of the HCP structure. What is the formula of the binary compound? How do we go about this? Now, how are we going to work on this? I have shown here one HCP unit cell. You know, there is one atom at each corner. This is one atom at each corner, and there are 6 corners on the upper face, 6 corners on the lower face, right? You already know this. So each corner is shared between 3 such unit cells in the same plane, and 3 above each one of these. So that makes 1/6 contribution of each corner atom towards one unit cell. So there are 12 such corners, 1/6 of 12 plus. Each of these two face centers contribute half, so 2 into half, plus 3 in the center, so 3 into 1, that makes Z equal to 6. Z, that is number of atoms per unit cell, also called as rank. So rank of HCP unit cell is 6, which means per unit cell there are 6 atoms. Therefore, tetrahedral voids is 12, octahedral voids is 6. So A, they say, forms HCP structure, means there will be 6A in the unit cell, and M occupies two-thirds of the tetrahedral voids. That means two-thirds of 12, which makes 8. So our formula becomes M8A6. Simplifying, dividing by 2, getting a simpler ratio, we get M4A3. So the correct answer to this question is M4A3. The question says KBr is doped with, doping means adding impurity. KBr is doped with 10 to the power minus 5 mole percent of strontium bromide. The number of cationic vacancies in 1 gram of KBr crystal is dash into 10 to the power 14. So we basically have to round up to the nearest integer in this question. Now I have shown in this figure a sodium chloride crystal. This is a sodium chloride crystal with equal number of sodium and chloride ions. And when strontium bromide is used to dope this sodium chloride crystal, now strontium ions are 2 positive ions. So for one strontium ion to get into this crystal, 2 sodium ions should vacate the sites. That means 2 sodium ions should leave the site for 1 strontium ion to take up that site. So let us say these 2 sodium ions vacate the site. 2 sodium ions have vacated the site from here, and instead 1 strontium ion occupies this. So what do we get? We get 1 vacant site, which means for one strontium ion, one vacant site is created. For one strontium ion, one vacant site is created. Question says KBr is doped with this much mole percent of strontium bromide. Therefore, the cation vacancies will be equal to the amount of strontium bromide added. Hence, the cation vacancies are going to be 10 to the power 5, 10 to the power minus 5 mole per cent. 10 to the power minus 5 mole per means upon, cent means 100, which makes it 10 to the power minus 7 moles of cation vacancies, or by number 10 to the power 7 into Avogadro number of cation vacancies. Now, these cation vacancies are created for 1 mole of KBr. Mole of KBr means this is 39 plus 80, that is 119 gram. 39 plus 80 makes 119 gram. So for 119 gram of KBr, the cation vacancies are 10 to the power minus 7 into Avogadro number. 10 to the power minus 7 into Avogadro number. Therefore, for 1 gram of KBr, the cation vacancies will be equal to 10 to the power minus 7 into Avogadro number upon 119 into 1. This is unitary method. So when you solve this, 10 to the power minus 7 into 6.023 into 10 to the power 23, this is the value of Avogadro number, divided by 119, you're going to get this as approximately 5, this is 5.07 basically, into 10 to the power 14. So rounded off, your answer here will be 5 into 10 to the power 14. So our answer to this question will be 5. We move on to the next question. Next question says gallium, atomic mass 70U, crystallizes in a HCP structure. The total number of voids in 0.581 gram of gallium is how much? Again, an integer based question. So we have to round off to the nearest integer in this question. So we know for HCP structure, we have octahedral voids equal to number of atoms per unit cell, and tetrahedral voids twice the number of atoms per unit cell, right? So let us calculate first number of atoms in 0.581 gram of gallium. How do we do? Number of atoms will be calculated as 0.581 upon 70 into Avogadro number. How? This is the given weight. This is going to be the molar weight. 70 U is the mass of 1 gallium. So 70 gram will be the mass of 1 mole of gallium. We are going to calculate moles of gallium atoms by this number. Multiplying with Avogadro number, we get the total number of gallium atoms. And now, total voids will be 3 times the number of atoms. How 3 times? We have octahedral voids equal to the number of atoms and tetrahedral voids twice the number of atoms. Therefore, total voids are going to be 3 times the number of atoms. So, the voids will be equal to 3 into 0.581 upon 70 into Avogadro number. So, we're going to solve this number. A certain element crystallizes in a BCC lattice. The first keyword is BCC lattice of unit cell edge length 27 angstrom. That means A is equal to 27 angstrom. BCC lattice, which means Z will be equal to 2. If the same element under the same conditions crystallizes in FCC lattice. So if it crystallizes in FCC lattice, its Z is going to be 4. The edge length of the unit cell A in angstrom will be how much? Again, it is expected to round off to the nearest integer. So what are we going to do in this case? For BCC structure, you will assume the relation root 3 is equal to 4r. A is known to us. So R is root 3 by 4A, root 3 by 4 of 27. We'll keep our answer in angstrom units. So we'll get 11.677 angstrom as the value of R. So value of R remains the same, whatever is the kind of packing. So now for FCC, root 2A is equal to 4R. So A will be calculated by substituting the value of R from here. And on solving, we get 32.93. 32.93 will be rounded off to the nearest integer, that is 33. So our answer to this question will be 33. Question is the number of octahedral voids per lattice site in a lattice. So it's very important, number of octahedral voids per lattice site, that means per atom, is equal to 1. We know the number of octahedral voids are equal to the number of atoms per unit cell, and atoms are present at lattice sites. So the number of octahedral voids per lattice site in a lattice is 1. What if I had asked you what is the number of octahedral voids? Number of octahedral voids in a FCC kind of unit cell? Then our answer would have been 4, because Z for FCC is 4. So number of octahedral voids are equal to the number of lattice points. So octahedral voids would have been 4 and tetrahedral voids would have been equal to 8. Similarly, if I had asked you number of octahedral voids per lattice point or per atom, per lattice point or per atom in FCC. So what would we have stated? We would have again stated the answer as 1. Why? Because Z for FCC is 4 and number of octahedral voids are also 4. So how many octahedral voids are present per atom? Our answer would be 1. So identify the question properly. If the question is number of octahedral voids in FCC, your answer is 4. But if the question is number of octahedral voids per lattice point or per atom in FCC, then your answer is 1. Now the next question. The unit cell of copper corresponds to FCC unit cell. So FCC, I'm writing the keywords as I read the question. Z is going to be equal to 4. A will be equal to 3.596 angstrom with 1 copper atom at each lattice point. 1 copper atom at each lattice point, which means copper atoms will be 4 in number. Calculated density of copper in kg per meter cube. Very important to keep in mind again the density unit. So we have written down the key points. We need a density in kg per meter cube. We have to calculate density. So density formula will go as Z into m upon a cube into Avogadro number. So the only thing that you have to specifically look for is putting in the right units. So 4 is the value of Z, as we have already written, because this is FCC kind of unit cell, into m. The molar mass is going to be 63.54 gram into 10 to the power minus 3. This is in kg, divided by a cube. A has to be in meter. So 3.596 into 10 to the power minus 10. I convert the angstrom into meter and cube into Avogadro number. When you solve this, you get answer as 9076 as the final answer in kg per meter cube. So our answer is 9076. That was the questions from JEE Mains 2021. Now moving on to JEE Mains 2020 questions. The first question that we have is a MCQ type question, a single correct answer question. A crystal is made up of metal ions M1 and M2 and oxide ions. Oxide ions form a CCP lattice. Oxide ions form a CCP lattice. The cation M1, CCP lattice means Z is going to be 4, octahedral voids are going to be 4, tetrahedral voids are going to be 8, right? So oxide ions form a CCP lattice, which means oxide ions are going to be 4 in number. The cation M1 occupies 50% of octahedral voids. So M1 is going to be 50% of octahedral voids, which are again 4 in number. So that makes it 2 M1 ions. The cations M2 occupy 12.5% of the tetrahedral voids, which makes it 1. The oxidation numbers of M1, M2 are respectively. Now, this means the formula becomes M1 cations are 2 in number, M2 cations are 1 in number, and oxide ions are 4 in number. We need to calculate the oxidation numbers of M1 and M2. Let the oxidation number of M1 be X. So let us assume this is plus X and this is plus Y and O we know is minus 2. So how will this equation be settled if we have 2X plus 2X and plus 1Y? Why? Because we have only one. We have only one M2. The charge on M2 is plus Y. So 1Y is the charge contribution by M2. And since each M has a plus X charge and there are two M, so the charge contribution becomes 2X. So 2X plus 1Y should be equal to the total negative charge contributed by O4, which is going to be 8. Since 4 oxide ions are going to contribute minus 8, 4 oxide ions, 4 into minus 2 is minus 8. So the total charge on the metal ions should be plus 8. So which out of these equations is going to satisfy a charge of plus 8? The last option, option D, that is plus 2 into 2 plus 4 is going to make it plus 8. Hence, D is the right option. Next question for JEE Mains. An element crystallizes in FCC unit cell, the first keyword, FCC unit cell with the cell edge A. The distance between the centers of two nearest octahedral voids in the crystal lattice A is two nearest octahedral voids. Now, what is the location of octahedral voids in FCC unit cell? Octahedral voids are present on the edge centers and the body centers. Edge center and body center. If we just imagine this to be an edge center, this as another edge center. So what is this much length? This is going to be a by 2, and this length is also going to be a by 2. So what will be the distance between these two? So we can calculate using Pythagoras theorem, writing it as, let us say I label it as A, this is B, and this is C. So AC square is going to be AB square plus BC square, which means A by 2 square plus A by 2 square. So AC square is going to be twice A square by 4, that is A square by 2. So AC is going to be A by root 2, right? So which is going to be the nearest distance? The closest two octahedral voids are going to be at the two adjacent edge centers. So the answer to this question is going to be A by root 2. The next question reads, which of the following compounds is likely to show both Schottky and Frenkel defect in its crystalline form? Uh, how do we decide whether a particular compound shows Schottky or Frenkel defects? It is mainly based on the radius ratios and the coordination number. And since AGBR has an intermediate radius ratio, so it is capable of showing both Frenkel as well as Schottky defects. Cesium chloride preferably shows Schottky. KBr also shows Schottky because here the cation anion radius is comparable, whereas zinc sulfide prefers to show Frenkel defect because the cations are smaller in comparison to the anions. So the next question, again, JEE Mains 2020. This reads, an element with molar mass 2.7 into 10 to the power minus 2 kg per mole. So again, on the unit, be careful about the unit. These many kg per mole forms a cubic unit cell with A, that is edge length 405 pm. Density is 2.7 into 10 to the power 3 kg per meter cube. Radius of the element is approximately how much? We have to quote the radius of the element. Let's solve this. Since it's a cubic unit cell, Z is unknown. Since it's a cubic unit cell, it can be a face-centered cubic unit cell or a body-centered. We do not know. So Z is unknown. A in meter, 405 into 10 to the minus 12. M is 2.7 in 10 to the minus 2 in kg. And density unit is kg per meter cube. So putting in this formula, we will calculate Z. So 2.7 into 10 to the power 3. Be careful about the units. It should be dimensionally correct. So molar mass in kg. Since density is in kg per meter cube, molar mass in kg, A cube is in meter cube and Avogadro number. So we're going to solve this and calculate Z. Z comes out to be 4. Now since Z comes out to be 4, it means it is FCC kind of unit cell, which means in this root 2A is equal to 4R, or R is equal to root 2 upon 4A, that is A upon 2 root 2. So R is to be calculated. We already know A, and R is needed in meter. So we will substitute 405 into 10 to the power minus 12. This is value of A upon 2 root 2. On solving, you will get your answer as 143 into 10 to the power minus 12 meter. So our answer is going to be 143. So the key point here was a cubic unit cell given. Cubic unit cell can be FCC, BCC, simple cubic. We do not know. So we have to calculate Z first. And once we know Z, we will be able to relate A and R. question we have is the JEE Mains 2019 question. So, ratio of number of atoms present in a simple cubic, body-centered cubic, and face-centered cubic, respectively, are equal to, for a simple cubic, Z is equal to 1. For a body-centered cubic, Z is equal to 2. And for a face-centered cubic, Z is equal to 4. Hence, the right answer is going to be C part. The next question says, an element has a face-centered structure, face-centered cubic structure with a cell edge of A. The distance between centers of two nearest tetrahedral voids. The distance between the centers of two nearest tetrahedral voids. I have shown in this figure 8 body diagonals and 1/4 end from each corner, 1/4 from each corner. The distance of this tetrahedral void of each tetrahedral void is √3a/4. So if a cube is drawn by touching each of these tetrahedral voids together, if I draw a cube, then distance between two tetrahedral voids will be equal to a/2, because the cube that is formed by joining the centers of these tetrahedral voids is going to have edge equal to half of the main edge length. So the right answer to this question is going to be a/2. Element B forms CCP structure. B forms CCP structure, which means since CCP has Z equal to 4, octahedral voids will be 4, tetrahedral voids will be 8. You may consider Z to be 1, then octahedral voids, like number of atoms, if you consider to be 1, then octahedral voids will be 1 and tetrahedral voids will be 2. You can assume any out of these. You can assume the ratio or the actual number. So CCP structure, B forms CCP structure, that means B is going to be 4. A occupies half of the octahedral voids, means A will be 2. Oxygen atoms occupy all the tetrahedral voids. So what will the formula become? If I divide all this by 2 to get a simpler ratio, we get A1, B2 and O4. So the answer is AB2O4, that is A part. So the next, the radius of the largest sphere which fits properly at the center of the edge of a body-centered cubic unit cell is a body-centered cubic structure. In a BCC kind of unit cell, we know we have atoms at each corner and at the body center, right? Which means the edge center is going to have vacant spaces. The edge center is going to have a void. Fine. And we can also understand from this that A is going to be equal to twice of the radius of void plus the radius of atom. So E is going to be equal to twice of R plus R. R, small r is the radius of the void, capital R is the radius of the sphere. So A/2 becomes R plus R, and also for a BCC kind of packing, √3a, that is length of the body diagonal, is equal to 4 times of the radius of the sphere. I've used capital R because it's radius of sphere. Because atoms in BCC meet along the body diagonal. Along the body diagonal, the atoms are in direct contact. They do not meet along the edge. That means the edge center is going to have a void. So let the radius of that void be small r. Now, substituting this capital R from here as root 3a by 4, root 3a by 4, and just rearranging and solving, we will get the relation R is equal to 0.067a. Hence, the right answer is B part. The formula A2B3 has HCP lattice. Which atom forms the HCP lattice and what fraction of tetrahedral voids are occupied by the other atoms? This is how we have to relate. So we know for HCP kind of structure, Z is equal to 6, tetrahedral voids are 12, and octahedral voids are also 6. So if A occupies HCP, then A will be 6, B 9, so that the formula is A2B3. And for that, B has to occupy 3/4 of the tetrahedral voids. 3/4 of the tetrahedral voids will be 9. So if A occupies HCP, then 3/4 of the tetrahedral voids have to be occupied by B. But if B occupies HCP lattice, in that case, be 6 and A has to be 4 in order to justify the formula A2B3, which means 1/3 of the tetrahedral voids, that is 12, have to be occupied by A. So which out of these options come out to be correct? B should be occupying the HCP lattice and 1/3 of the tetrahedral voids should be occupied by A. So our answer for this is B part. The next question reads, a solid having density, again density is given in kg per meter cube, forms FCC, face-centered cubic crystals. That means Z is equal to 4 with edge length 200 root 2 picometer, which means into 10 to the power minus 12 meter. What is the molar mass of the solid? Avogadro's number and the value of pi is approximately given to us if needed. So we are going to use the formula density is equal to Z into M upon A cube into Avogadro number. So we'll do the substitutions. 9 into 10 to the power 3 is equal to 4 into M is to be calculated. This is 200 root 2 into 10 to the power minus 12 whole cube. So, and Avogadro number. And the value of Avogadro number, I'll substitute. It is 6 into 10 to the power 23. So, since the value of density is kg per meter cube and A is in meter cube, so we will be getting the answer for M on solving this in kg. So on solving, M will come out to be 0.0305 kg and the unit for molar mass is always kg per mole. So the right answer to this will be A part. Question. You can observe, children, most of the questions in 2019 to 21 relate either to density or to voids. So this is again Z4. Then since it's a FCC unit cell with a cell edge of X angstrom. What is the approximate density of copper at this temperature? Atomic mass of copper is given 63.55 U. What is the difference between atomic mass given in U and gram? U stands for mass of one atom, and if the same number is given with the unit gram, it stands for 1 mole, that is Avogadro number of atoms. Density is equal to Z into atomic weight, that is the molar mass, upon A cube into Avogadro number. So we need to find out density in gram per cc this time. Since density is needed in gram per cc, we put Z. Let this atomic weight be calculated in, be substituted in gram. The value is going to be 63.55 in gram upon, this is A cube. A cube is going to be X into 10 to the power minus 8 whole cube. Why? Because this density is in gram per centimeter cube, which means the molar mass will be in gram and A has to be converted to centimeter. X angstrom means X into 10 to the power minus 8 centimeter. So here we have Avogadro number, that is 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. So on solving, when we solve this, we will be getting 422 upon x cube as the answer. So our right answer is going to be D part. The next question again, J means 2019. Which primitive unit cell? Which primitive unit cell has unequal edge lengths, that is A not equal to B not equal to C, and all axial angles different from 90 degree. So you know the basically the most unsymmetrical or the least symmetrical structure crystal system is triclinic, where A is not equal to B not equal to C, and alpha is not equal to beta, is not equal to gamma, and is not equal to 90 degree. So the answer to this is triclinic. So these were some questions of solid state children from JEE Mains 2019 to 21. So what you've observed is uh, the trend is not of asking questions related to all those topics which are borderline, which are not part of NCERT, such as Bragg's law and symmetry elements and um, Brevet's lattices, things that most of the times when we discuss the basic concepts, we just go a little beyond the basic NCERT content. But if you observe at these questions all involve your understanding, your basic alertness about the units, about making the quantities dimensionally balanced, and not only about the hi-fi concepts, right? So what is required is doing a lot of practice, lot of understanding of the basics, and going into attaining a higher degree of accuracy. So don't just focus on doing the hi-fi concepts, work more on practice, understanding the basic concepts, increasing your speed and your level of accuracy. So all the best for your all your future exams, children. Have a nice day. If you like this, please subscribe, share, and like, and leave a comment if you like these kind of videos, so that I feel motivated to make similar videos for the next chapters as well.